John Atchley from South Pacific Bible College, joining us to, I believe, check out a riddle from the Bible.
That's right. How about that for Wednesday morning? We're doing riddles, Hebrew riddles.
Well, of
It's
course.
good to be here.
It's a bit of a theological
Of
flex,
course.
John, but we'll roll with it, mate. What do you
Yeah,
got for
okay,
us
good.
this morning?
Yeah, Ecclesiastes. I don't know. I don't know if many people kind of wander through Ecclesiastes. It's kind of sometimes a bit dark.
I
But
genuinely
today, I
avoid it
think,
for that reason. I find some of it quite
yeah,
depressing, actually.
exactly. That's right. And maybe another time we could unpack that further. But there's a good thing here. There's a lovely thing in Ecclesiastes 4, the riddle that we find there. 'Cause, everyone wonders about the meaning of life. We're all trying to figure out is it family? Is it my legacy? Or is it having fun? Is it spirituality, religion, God? And that's what Ecclesiastes is about, is trying to figure out what's the meaning of life. But he kind of keeps God out of the picture for most of it. And that's where some of the darkness creeps in, of course, obviously.
So, what's the riddle in particular this morning then that we're going to try and solve?
Yeah, let's see, chapter 4, verses 4 to 6. You want me to read that?
Yeah, go for it.
It says, I saw that all toil and achievement. So he's thinking now about work. Is work the meaning of life? All toil and achievement spring from one person's envy of another, and that's meaningless, a chasing after the wind. And here's the riddle. Fools fold their hands and ruin themselves. Better one handful with tranquility than two handfuls with toil and chasing after the wind. So he talks about
Ooh.
hands a lot, three things about hands. And that's where the riddle is. So see if you can figure it out. Let's see how smart you both are.
Okay,
Oh,
this is pretty
okay.
deep, but automatically I'm thinking that
Yeah.
if you do nothing, you ruin yourself. But if you do a
She's spoiling
little
it.
and you have the peace of God, that's much better than continuously striving for more handfuls when you know that whatever wealth you accumulate eventually will just disappear because life is mortal on this earth.
I'll
Yeah,
go you one further.
fleeting.
How about this? Quoting the Apostle Paul, godliness with contentment is great gain.
Whoa, look at you two. This is great. Well, that's all we have time for this morning. That's good.
Coming up next,
No, you're
John
right.
Atchley on the show by himself.
So, let's unpack it even further. It says fools fold their hands. So that's kind of literally it means to cross your arms. So if you cross your arms, and if you're driving, you probably shouldn't do this. But if you cross your arms and you imagine that posture, when do people do that? When do people cross their arms?
When they're relaxing, when they're sitting back, or
Yep.
maybe not listening is another way.
That's it. That's right. It's when they're either not listening, they're relaxing. It's when they've given up. It's when they've stopped and they've just said, "No, I'm done. I'm folding my hands." And it says that that's an approach you can have to work. You can fold your hands and say, "No, I'm done. I'm sick of it." And that's what we see in the world today. A lot of people can see the world's a hard place, isn't it? Often. And we know a lot of people, you probably know people who've withdrawn from society. So that's an option. But like you both said, that's not what we're Christians, we're called into service. But Ecclesiastes says you're actually a fool if you do that. You destroy yourself. So that's not an option you can pick.
Yeah, well, God does say that we are created to work, right? We are created with an innate capacity to be creative with what we have in our hands to steward the earth and to rule over the animals and the wildlife kingdom. But I guess where do you draw that fine balance between doing what we're created to do, but also remembering that we're also created to Sabbath and to rest and to not let our toil take control of our lives?
That's such a good question, isn't it? And I love this because this riddle actually gives us, and you both gave us the answer. You spoiled the whole thing. Spoiled
Sorry,
everything.
John. Spoiler alert.
No, it's awesome because, if you jump to the last one quickly, to contrast it, it says that the other thing you can do is really get angry and aggressive and listen to this language. Two handfuls with toil, chasing after the wind. It's like a grabbing action with your hands. And that's very violent and aggressive. It's grabbing and pulling. And we've seen that a lot in this world. People who just seek to get only for themselves and get everything they can, and I don't care about you. And that's not okay. But
I was going to say there's a whole genre of online content now around what they call the grind set. Have you seen this?
Oh, yeah.
So
No,
this
talk
thing,
about that,
particularly
Greg.
for young guys, and this whole thing of like, hey, if you're going to go out there and get after it and work harder than everybody else and get up at 4
Yeah.
a.m. and then go to the gym for 3 hours and then work for 12 hours in a row and then make no time for your friends. And it's like, that's how you make it. That's how you get ahead.
Aren't there
I
even
know,
like
and-
clubs called like the 4 a.m. club and stuff where people are like
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
obsessively getting up to try and win the day?
Yeah, win the day like it's a zero-sum game.
Mm.
And like talk about tired, talk about a lack of Sabbath, talk about just an obsession that's destructive as well. It's not okay. But in the middle of that is the answer. It says, imagine if you could, one handful with tranquility. What does that mean? What does that look like? One handful with tranquility, with peace. I kind of imagine a loose grip. You know, you're receiving a blessing, you're receiving something, but you're not like grabbing it and you're not giving up on it and turning back. You receive it with probably thankfulness or gratitude. And that's the answer. That's what we're supposed to do. That's how you have work and Sabbath come together. Is you seek to receive God's blessing, you work for, you toil, but you don't needlessly grab at the air. You don't give up and tune out. You're just thankful. You're gracious, your gratitude.
John, this is one of those verses or one of these principles that I'm listening to right now. And I feel like, if I be so bold as to speak for all of our listeners right now, I think we kind of agree. I think we kind of get it. I think we're kind of on board with this. But my goodness, is this a seductive principle? Because, we think we're maybe living that way, but then it'll be when, say, that promotion doesn't come our way, or we can't afford to take that holiday, or somebody else gets a new car before we do, or they've got a new jacket and we're envious of that we so easily exchange this thing that we think we know for, my life would be so much better if I just have more, and we go to grab for it. Or we say, well, the whole system's rigged and it's all a waste of time anyway, and so I'm just going to fold my hands over it.
Yeah, that's right. I know this is the thing. Ecclesiastes, I think this is why I find it hard to read, Kat, as well. It's because it cuts you straight to the bone. It cuts right through all of the things you assumed were true and all of the things that you've tried to do to find an answer. It just keeps cutting through it and just comes right down to kind of strip it all bare and to make you look at yourself again and say, where is my heart at? Is my heart trapped in a kind of an envious? It uses that language. Envy of others. Is it trapped in I can't be bothered anymore because it's all too hard and confusing? And so it really makes you see it's a mirror. It's a mirror to see myself. And sometimes I don't like what I see.
Yeah, that's the challenge, right? When you cut through all of that and you look at yourself and the Bible reveals what's really in your heart, you are confronted and go, like, I don't like this. How do I deal with this in my life? And I guess that's the last question to lead off, is if you are someone who's really struggling, perhaps you're on one side of the equation, maybe you've given up and you're just pulling out and withdrawing from everything and operating in society. Or perhaps you're stuck on the hamster wheel and you're struggling to let go and give it to God, and you are perhaps trying to gain or gauge your self-worth based on your performance. What would you say to someone who's kind of stuck on either one side?
Yeah, I know. I mean, this happens to all of us. I think that's what I would start saying is the Ecclesiastes cuts us to the heart because it is universal. It's all of us. We all have times where we're firing on all cylinders. We've got it figured out. We're just in tune with God and His Spirit. And then other days we're a mess. We've just ruined it all. How could I even call myself a Christian? But at the heart of that is that one handful with tranquility. It's an attitude of there's a grace that God gives us, and to seek that and to gratefully receive that. That starts undoing some of these destructive thoughts that we pour on ourselves, and that the world will feed us too. We need to kind of look in the mirror, see ourselves, be undone, but then turn back to God and receive with gratitude His grace. So that's been helpful for me, knowing that this is all of us. We're all trying our best. We're all messing it up.
Look, I agree, John, and I think this has been a great reminder for today and for any day as well, that there might be good things that we've been pursuing, that maybe we've made an ultimate thing instead of pursuing the tranquility that only God can give.
Yeah,
That's right.
so good, John. Well, thank you so much for joining us today for New Zealand's biggest small group. And for those listening right now, if you're struggling with something and you would like prayer, don't hesitate to get in touch and share your prayer needs with us. You can text the studio 8168 with the keyword Rhema, and we will pray after this song. But thanks, John, for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you. God bless you all. May you all seek and find the peace of God.
Amazing. I hope you enjoyed that as much as we did.
Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe and turn your notifications on so you don't miss the next video.
We'll see you in the next one.